Assalamualaikum, my name is Luzaifa Binti Kamal. Today I will explain about introduction for our proposal. Okay, first, digital preservation is the active management and preservation of digital object that contain a file or a group of files. There are content information in digital form so that can be accessed by users in the futures. This is involve the planning, allocation, resources, and application to preservation method and technologies. Okay, like we know nowadays, it can be seen that that is an increasing amount of information created and stored digitally. So, many company are using digital archive for their own digital preservation. So in this proposal, our group, my group, make decision to build up a new company. That's name is Notre Dame Company. This company are based on the latest technology. In this company, we provided preservation process for digital preservation because of our technology is up to date. So we can do the process of digital preservation.
The main objective of this plan is to maintain the accessibility of digital material in the future. If the record cannot be accessed because of something like lack of technology to preserve it or tool to review it, thus it will be labeled as damaged good. Digital preservation can be thought of a process that have purpose on maintaining the used material for a long time period. Digital material cannot be kept in wrong way when it being preserved, or the point of access have been lost and bring problem to the access. Because of that, the purpose of digital presentation is to maintain the accessibility no matter to protect the purpose of material, the authentic message, or the ability to access the essential. Other than that, this plan also strives to provide framework preservation program of digital archive. Like being said before, the value of digital archive is put on their accessibility. There are several organizations that have said digital archive that has lost due to negligence or simply do not fully understand the importance behind it. It is because of the materials such as personal data, record, medical record, or others that are important to be kept securely. Digital presentation work as to protect what kind of material shall not be lost or damaged. It is also in our mind that this objective can keep the significance of material for the use for future generation. Digital preservation well known to protect the data and information from loss or damaging. For example, it can protect the historical material in long-term period. Digital presentation with good strategy can protect historical material without loss or damage. Because of that, it can transmit the important from digital data and important to the use of future generation and for future research purpose. A well-made objective can give a clear direction to the planning process of preservation program of a digital archive. Indirectly, a good comprehensive objective will give a beneficial effect to the establishment of preservation program of a digital archive in the Notre Dame company. Thank you.
The problem of preserving digital information for long-term access appears simple, yet it necessitates considerable thought about procedure and technology. Among the examples of challenges that our company goes through in preserving digital preservation is when the organization in our company changes. Modern digital world is a place where both technological and organizational developments are occurring at a rapid pace. Organizations are increasingly reorganizing inside, merging, or ceasing to exist. Digital preservation is a long-term endeavor, and the changes of it being impacted by organizational change grow with time. Besides its selection, selectivity is unavoidable if the goal is to sustain continuous access due to the vast amount of digital material produced, its fluctuating quality, and the resource limits faced by those charged with preserving long-term access. Non-selection for preservation in the digital environment nearly always means loss of the object, even if it is later deemed worthwhile. In circumstances where numerous versions exist, decisions must be taken about which version is the best for preservation and whether more than one should be chosen. Otherwise, even if many copies are maintained in various repositories, all of those repositories may, at some point, stop to maintain the digital item for a variety of reasons. The other challenges are to balancing security and access. Preservation and accessibility have long had a strong relationship. Digital documents must be safe and secure, but most repositories also allow access to a wide range of users. Many types of digital media chosen for long-term preservation may contain secret and sensitive information that must be safeguarded to prevent unauthorized access. In other cases, there may be legal or regulatory obligations on the repository affecting access. There can be tensions between these two roles and a need to strike a balance between security and ease of access. Overall, this is the challenges our company has gone through in achieving an efficient preservation program of digital archive in our company. Today, digital preservation is considered trivial by some parties and not taken seriously. Therefore, we have attached some important things in this framework to achieve an efficient preservation program of digital archives in our company, such as the importance or advantage of digital preservation to the company. The second one is the challenge of digital preservation in practice, and the last one is the company's strategy in achieving an efficient preservation program of the digital archives.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Syahri bin Yazid. Today I will talk about importance and challenge of digital preservation. First is importance of digital preservation. It is critical to preserve government material. In a system based on precedent, the preservation of prior government act gives reason for both people inside and outside of government to choose how to proceed. For example, might examine private action, recommendation, and even public debates of a given topic to evaluate how administrators comprehend certain concept. While many of these records are required to be maintained, the way they are stored varies among agencies, as the concept of the file format utilized may not be compatible to retain necessary information. That is, the record of living events leading up to the passing of law in Congress are critical for legal experts and the court to determine the meaning of bills wording. Furthermore, historians value the detail of how legislative office interact to better comprehend a specific times in the government history to obtain a unique perspective on a period in history of in general. While the presence of papers may have made it easy in the past generation, modern workplaces are increasingly using electronically structured communication. And the third is digital preservation, like the most thing taken for granted, rarely receive the attention it needs. Our digitally generate and store history is become increasingly essential with each passing day. We may not able to save all the paper documenting the history made at this time, but attempting to save as much as possible is critical. We don't know what research, the fact, tweets, or email will be remembered as a historical turning point or key lesson. Next is challenge of digital preservation. First is accessibility of files. A preservation format may also function as an access format for digital file in some situations. A collection may contain a set of word processing files produced in XY write decades ago. In late 1980s and early 1990s, the XY write program was mainly utilized in DOS and Windows systems. This file has been converted to PDF, which should have been available on both modern and older machines with appropriate software. PDF files may be accessed using a variety of software programs. Next is technological obsolescence. As the technological evolved, it became increasingly difficult to retrieve material created on or for the early computing system. Technological obsolescence is frequently viewed as the greatest threat to digital content. However, this is just a long-term perspective. Next is migration. Periodic transfer of digital resource from one hardware or software configuration to another, or from one generation of computer technology to the next. Migration is the process of transferring that digital information from an outdated or physically degrading media to a new one. Converting from one format to another and moving documents from one platform to another. Unquestionable, migration is a crucial method for maintaining digital artifacts. Next is file format. Choosing a suitable file format is a critical aspect of digital preservation. In this scenario, the number of files that cover the most resource is prioritized. Adobe System Acrobat Portable Document Format is worldwide standard for high quality electronic records or PDF. XML is the second most used storage format, or we know like extensive markup language. They have their own workplace in the preservation strategy. Lastly is emulation. Emulation is the process of developing new software that mimic the operation of previous hardware or software to duplicate its performance. Emulation has lately received attention as a possible preservation approach, realizing that some electronic resources that rely on hardware and software will not lend themselves to migration. That's all from me. Thank you.
Is digital preservation strategies. Various organizations around the world have devised various strategies, regulations, and standards to ensure that the preservation process is carried out efficiently. Including our company, there are various strategies that we implement to achieve an efficient preservation program of digital archives to our organization. The first strategy is a non-profit organization whose purpose is to preserve the environment. The first sign of a dependable achieving program is that it has both a stated mission and the requisite mandate to execute long-term enduring preservation. The mission establishes a favorable environment for the specialized planning and infrastructure required for digital preservation. By having a mission or objective, all things planned will be implemented successfully because we have a guide and goals to be achieved, in addition to being the main motivating factor in achieving the objectives that have been set. Second one is a long-term economic model that can support preservation efforts over the specified time period. The GISC Life project proposed that there will be an ongoing technology watch cost that is relatively stable year to year, as well as an intermittent set of costs related to preservation actions. A preservation organization may decide to keep all of the content in its archive for the same amount of time, or to save certain items for different amounts of time. The preservation organization must have an economic model that allows it to transport the content into the archive, keep a close eye on technology, and also perform intermittent preservation actions on the saved content for the duration of the retention period. The third strategy is clear legal rights to the content as well as partnerships with content suppliers. Preserve the digital content incorporated into its archive. A digital preservation organization must hold legal rights. These rights must be obtained prior to the acquisitions of the content and must specify the scenarios in which the preserved content will be made accessible and to whom. The rights must also include the preservation organization's ability to delegate a successor in the event that the original organization ceases operations. These legal agreements should be archived alongside the digital information because they must have always remain with the archived content. The preservation group must have a relationship with the content source in addition to securing the legal rights to preserve the content and make it available under certain conditions. The next strategies is clients, material and preservation service and techniques are all open to the public. A preservation organization should clearly disclose its preservation technique to the community it serves, as well as provide a way for the community to audit the saved content. And the last one is technical methods of digital preservation. The two main options for long-term preservation are migration and emulation. Migration is the process of converting digital content from one format to another that is useful and accessible on the current technology, while emulation is the process of creating software that mimics all the technology and software. Migration is a content-centric technique that necessitates thorough understanding of the content to be retained, whereas emulation is a technology-centric method that necessitates a thorough understanding of existing hardware and software.
In conclusion, digital preservation is one of the important processes in digital archiving. This is because to ensure every record stored online is stored securely, safe. In addition, unregistered and legitimate users will not be able to steal important information due to the high security of the digital archive in every company. Lastly, based on this assignment, I and all group members have learned very useful information about digital preservation that is very important to have in every company, because it's more easy and our record will be carried more safe by the high security in every digital archive. So I think that's all from us. Thank you.